Hey, welcome to Geek Speak, episode 17.
There you go.
All right, what do you want to talk about, brother?
Okay, so I don't know how big a Lego fan you are, but I know we have got to have some Lego fans out there. So I was out the other day and had been looking at the new Lego botanical collection. Have you seen those?
Mm-mm.
So I've been wanting plants for my new house, and I don't have a green thumb. So I thought if I bought some of these botanical plants, and they're pretty, for as far as a Lego set, they're pretty reasonable. I mean, somewhere between 30, 40, 45 bucks.
Yeah.
And they're really cool. And I was looking into them and how they make their parts. You know, they're not unique parts. Like some of the flowers are made out of the shoulder pads of some of the minifigs, or the heads of the minifigs, or there's one flower, and it's all made out of pirate hats.
Oh, yeah?
That's been shaded different colors.
Yeah.
And I just found that so unique that, you know, there's this one flower, it's huge and it's beautiful and colorful, and it's made out of ores. Yeah, and it's just kind of unique how they've got a name. It's like Lego engineers or something.
Yeah.
They're tasked to create something, and they have to use what they have. And if you're a Lego aficionado, if I'm using that word correctly, it wouldn't be a bad set to have if you're wanting just parts fairly reasonable in multi-colors.
Yeah. I've got a friend of mine, and he's a Lego aficionado, I guess is what you would call him. But he, and I'll out him, his name's Brent Boyer.
No, Brent.
And, but he likes Star Wars Legos. And some of these sets are elaborate, and he's got a room in his house that he's just got all these. He showed me pictures of them, all these huge Lego sets that he's put together, him and his son.
Yeah.
Something they share together. So let's talk about AI for a little bit.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence. And it's been in the news recently, and of course the screenwriters Guild strike is going on currently. Right. And one of their concerns is AI writing scripts in the future.
But they do a good job, though.
Yeah, but the current screenwriters don't either, for the most part. And but what I want to talk about is AI art. So, I mean, you both like art, and it goes over into the comic book realm. So let's say you were going to make a comic book about a mountain man, and you could put in mountain man. You want him shooting a grizzly bear with a black powder rifle on a snowy mountain. You could put all that in. AI will search the internet for all these images of that, and they will alter them enough to avoid copyright problems.
Right.
And they will combine you and get you a new cover for your comic. And some comic book companies are doing it. A lot of sci-fi, Amazon books and fantasy books uses AI art they've pulled off the internet. And some independent comic book companies, none of the major ones yet, are actually using interior art. So all the art is AI generated. So you as an artist who may have drawn this grizzly bear may see this mountain man fighting this grizzly bear in the front of a book, and you're like, wait a minute, that's my grizzly bear from that I drew or painted. But the art has been altered enough that there's no copyright there.
So it's not like Photoshop.
Right. So it's not a tit for tat copy of it. So legally they're okay, but what do you think about that morally?
Well, when it first came out, you know, as an artist, I was kind of like concerned because I was like, well, this is, you know, AI is replacing everything.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about having a piece of art, especially if it's an original piece of art that is unique, hand created. You know, you can never take the place of the skill. I mean, it's beautiful art.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that imperfections. It doesn't have the brush strokes. It doesn't have the.
But would you be okay if somebody took a portion of your artwork that you made and used it for monetary gain and you got no compensation.
Okay,
Would you be
so
okay with
what
that?
I have learned as an artist is that is nothing new. Throughout years, artists have used other artists' styles. They've used other artists' body poses. Hell, some places like Disney uses their own regurgitated film of characters walking and stuff. It's not, as an artist, I don't look at it as theft as it is progressing. If it's another artist using it,
Yeah, yeah.
as them using it to progress their style, their skill, I would have no problem with that whatsoever. I am a firm believer in sharing information, sharing materials and things like that. Now, as far as AI stealing it, I'm kind of, Benz, I'm just now thinking about it. I'd say,
I kind of just dropped it on you.
yeah, I'm kind of, yeah, I'm kind of concerned about that, because then somebody who has no skill, nobody who's really trying to work to progress their skill, anybody can use that in a way without. It's kind of like, when musicians sample other musicians.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, people have gone to court over dun 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 dun.
Oh, sure.
Dun,
Yeah, they
dun,
did
dun,
that
dun,
with,
dun, dun, dun,
I
dun.
remember the one, Ice Ice Baby.
That's
Vanilla
what.
Ice.
That's what I was
Yeah.
just doing. Yeah.
But I guess, as long as you're not monetarily profiting, I don't see an issue. Personally, that's my opinion. So in other words, like, I make custom figures of licensed characters.
Right.
But I make them for myself. And I don't sell them. So they're made for me.
Right.
And that's where they end.
But
But if I was making, say, a Batman figure or a Spider-Man figure, and I was selling it, now I've kind of crossed that line. And if you borrow for somebody's art for your home or for your office, or even for a non-monetized YouTube channel, that's fine. But if you use somebody's art and you're making money off of it, to me, they should get some kind of compensation.
Well, AI is kind of spooky in itself, not to just harp on this topic.
Yeah.
But they have asked AI questions, and it has actually learned to lie. They found that AI is learning to lie to its creators. And, that is one of the innate skills that a person learns on their own. It's not taught to them. It's something they learn as a child. So it's showing that this thing's progressively learning and growing. And I'm just wondering, are we going to have another Skynet?
Yeah. Did y'all watch the Terminator movies?
You're right. Can you learn nothing from theater?
So what else you want to talk about?
Okay, so I recently watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, what'd you think about it?
Okay, so believe it or not,
Yeah.
this is the first movie I have ever given a 10 to.
Oh, really? Wow.
I could not find anything wrong with it. I loved every bit of it. I loved the characters. I loved the story writing. I was just enamored with it. There was nothing in it whatsoever that made me like,
Yeah.
and when I walked away from it, I was like, I didn't walk out of theaters, but when I walked away from it, I was like, do I just love this movie?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know, and it wasn't a huge box office success, which really puts a sequel at danger, because they have to make a ton of money before they consider making a sequel.
Right.
And it would be a shame if they didn't, because those writers and those actors, they somehow aligned everything and struck gold.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with
My
you.
favorite part of it is where they kind of did a nod to the old cartoon version of
Yeah,
Dungeons
yeah,
and Dragons.
yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool.
It was very nice. So, my favorite cosplayer has always been Yaya Han,
Okay, yes.
and
Very skillful.
Yeah,
seamstress.
she's good. She's been around forever. She's like a pioneer in cosplay, and she's a.
Is it her or her husband does all the costumes?
I
think
I don't think she does some of the work, but most of it's done for her.
That's what I was
But
thinking.
she was on a reality show, which I can't remember the name of it, years ago, and they painted her as a really kind of not nice, bad attitude person. But in reality,
Kind of like the Simon Cowell of.
yeah,
of
I've
the
met
show.
her twice, and she's just as sweet and nice as you can be. And so so she used to be my favorite cosplayer, and then below her was Joni Brohas, and I like her just because she's really, really hot.
Okay.
But they've both been bummed down.
What do you mean?
My favorite
Oh, here we
cosplayer now
Here we go.
is Danny O'Neill. You've met Danny.
Oh, yes.
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 That's my favorite cosplayer. He was at Frankfurt Comic Con. He come by our booth. We were advertising our YouTube channel. And first he come by as Green Hornet.
Right.
And then he come by as Zorro. And then he come by as Paladin from Half Gun Will Travel.
Right.
Now,
Even had cards. Even gave us cards.
And I mean his costumes were just
spot
on. And he was so passionate about it. And so he's older than us. So first of all, there's not too many geeks older than us.
Not a lot.
Yeah, they either A, aren't geeks, or B, they died off. So, but Danny, I've never met anybody so passionate about cosplay. He travels all over. He's working on a new costume. This won't air for a couple weeks, so he's probably already debuted it. But it's Commando Cody.
I can't wait to see that.
And I had heard that name before, but didn't know a whole lot about it.
Right.
He showed me all these details of the costume he's working on.
Yeah, jetpacks.
Yeah,
and everything.
jetpacks and chest plate. And so it was I think it was 1956. There was 12 one-hour episodes of Commando Cody, Sky Marshal of the Universe, or something like that. And so it was black and white. It was just as corny as you could be. The names were like Radar Men from the Moon and Zombies from the Stratosphere.
Right.
But I went back and watched some of them just for you, Danny. Just for you, Danny. And it was kind of neat to see what people of that era, that was their sci-fi.
Right.
That was their sci-fi. That's what they had. So
before Buck Rogers.
Even before Star Wars in '77. Yeah. I mean, this is back in the '50s, and so, but what a nice, polite gentleman. What an interesting person to talk to,
right.
And we talked to him for probably about an hour, and he was just so passionate. And I mean, in just that one little small Comic-Con, he made 3 costume changes.
3 costume changes. Yeah.
And he was probably how
would have loved for him to just hang out with us all day.
Yeah, he's probably in his 70s, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But just a real nice gentleman, and he was telling me about the next Comic-Con he was going to go to, and the Comic-Con after that. And when I'm around somebody who's just extremely passionate about something, which I like cosplay, but even if they're passionate about something I'm not passionate about, then I get caught up in their excitement.
Right, yeah.
And certainly that was him.
Yeah.
That was him. And I felt like that we sat and we listened to him, whereas maybe a lot of the young people running around just in anime outfits probably wouldn't have.
Right. Well, one of these days I hope to be in his position where somebody would see our passion for something that we're doing and get caught up in our passion, because to him, he is our old geek.
Oh yeah, right.
Right, just like we're their old geeks.
If we're old geeks, he's an ancient.
He is the OG.
That's
of
right.
Old geeks.
That's right.
God bless you.
Yeah, he's
buddy.
the Yoda of
right.
the Jedi Council. So what else you got, brother? Anything else?
So I haven't watched any of the new Marvel's Invasion. What's it called?
Yeah. Secret Invasion.
I'm kind of waiting. At first, I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
As it goes along and I'm hearing things, I kind of want to look into it.
Yeah.
But there is one that's coming out. I think it's August. Called The Marvels.
Yeah.
Have you seen it advertised?
You talking about with all the Marvel characters together? They're like Miss Marvels.
Right.
Yeah.
That actually looks kind of badass, and I'm kind of interested in seeing it.
You're the only guy. There's nobody else that's interested in seeing
Really?
that. Yes, and I will prove it to you. I will bet you $1. And dollars are hard to come by.
Okay.
Around here. I mean, you don't even see one from
4
here.
quarters.
Yeah, I'll bet you 10 dimes that doesn't make back the money that they spent on making it.
That's
all
a bet,
right,
buddy.
okay,
right
that's
here,
a
y'all
bet.
see
All right,
here.
yeah, we'll see who.
That's
we'll
a
see.
good grip.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
see.
a good. Oh, thanks, man. So let's see. One more thing, and then we'll do my comic book recommendation. Unless you got something else. I saw
No, go ahead.
Megan the other day, And I'm not into horror movies. My wife is, and she's made me watch some horrible
Is that about the robot dog?
horror
right?
movies over the
Okay.
years. And so Megan, I was interested in it because it's got a sci-fi slant. It's like horror / sci-fi, like say Alien movies would be horror / sci-fi. So it's about this little girl who, you can tell by the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything. It's about a little girl who gets a robot that goes wacky and starts murdering people.
Right.
But it was done really, really well. It was full of no-name actors and actresses, people you wouldn't recognize. But all the acting in it was fantastic. The special effects was good, and it was very enjoyable. And sci-fi has a big history of robot movies gone bad. Terminator, which we'd already mentioned.
Right.
Westworld would be another one. And certainly Megan gets added to that list. And it was a really cute movie. It was enjoyable. I liked it.
What do you give it from 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I'd probably give it an 8.
Okay.
8 on the scale.
See, because when it was first advertised, you remember the old sitcom? I think it was called, was it My Little Robot? About a little girl that had a robot?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is just that story, but
Yeah.
turned bad.
Yeah, it was done good. They did a good job on it. So, anything else for you?
That's it.
Okay, comic book recommendation. You've heard me talk about Solomon Kane many times. I'm a big Robert E. Howard fan. And so Marvel, way back in the 80s, they adapted a lot of, in a 6-issue limited series, a lot of Solomon Kane, Robert E. Howard stories. Robert E. Howard's famous for Conan. And so they adapted a lot of his stories. The art's good, the story's good. Modern Marvel couldn't make these today because, first of all, Robert wrote these back in the late 1920s.
Oh, okay.
And so they would consider them not politically correct now.
Oh, okay. Right.
But the fact is, they're good stories. And so, but Marvel did a great job of adapting these. You can pick them up for like $250. They're a little or nothing, all 6 issues, but they're worth reading, and I recommend them. So, great art, great story, great price.
There you go.
All right, you done, brother?
I'm done.
All right, we're done.